UNC Special Olympics is a student-run organization that fosters inclusion between the Special Olympics athletes in Orange County and UNC students. It seeks to do this primarily through the Unified Sports Intramural League, in which we play flag football in the fall and kickball in the spring. We also have rivalry series events with NC State. We play them in flag football, and we play Duke in basketball. Lastly, we also host a bunch of social events on campus, which include ice cream parties, board game nights, and also holiday-themed parties. So UNC Special Olympics is still a pretty new organization on campus. It's only our third year, and as a result, we're pretty small. We only have about 30 or so general body members, but with such a small organization, we still have a really big executive board. Our executive board has 8 members and consists of our president, 2 vice presidents, a secretary, and 4 committee chairs. The president and vice president are the 2 vice presidents are responsible for organizing our general body meetings, keeping communication between the exec board clear and transparent, and for making important decisions for the organization overall. Our secretary is in charge of keeping attendance at all our events. We do utilize a point system that Orhun will talk to you later about, as well as sending out emails, kind of keeping everybody updated on what events are happening that week, what events are coming up, and for publicizing this info on our social media pages as well.
I mean, I just like being part of a community-wide event and have so many of my friends together. Getting to be with UNC students too, that makes it even better.
It's an amazing chance to get to tap into the community around the school and to be able to combine my Carolina experience with other communities outside of just UNC is, it's a blessing, honestly.
Our first suggestion is to reduce the size of the executive board by removing the 2 vice presidents. We chose to remove these 2 positions because after speaking with the president of the Special Olympics, we were unable to clearly articulate the function of these roles. We hope that by reducing the size of the board, we'll be able to hold each member of the board more accountable than they currently are, as well as lead to a more organic structure of the board as a whole. Specifically, we predict that this change will directly benefit the committee heads. After speaking with the members of the Special Olympics Board, it became clear to us that the committee heads were really struggling to communicate what they're doing or what they have done to a large executive board. Having fewer members to coordinate with should help facilitate communication. Finally, we think that a smaller board with more responsible members will lead to a more organic structure. As a fairly new organization that's hoping to grow within the next few years, we think that an organic structure is ideal. As such, we don't see the need for too many executive board members, especially if some of those roles have no function. By reducing the size of the board to assign more accountability to the leaders, they will become more engaged in the purpose of the board and more motivated to contribute. A more engaged board is the best way to ensure that the club is doing all it can to grow and improve in the future.
One of the problems that we faced within Special Olympics was the lack of commitment and dedication from critical team leaders. That includes not only showing up to the meetings, but being prepared and willing to engage and contribute to the tasks at hand. When general body meetings will be held, or even executive board meetings, people don't show up and there's a little engagement, which compounds other problems within the organization. This is a simple but important problem for an organization whose objective it is to grow and prosper. They have a point system that was originally created to address lack of commitment from senior leaders, where members would receive points when they show up for meetings and would be considered when applying for exec board positions. We see this as an EPO problem, specifically in the performance to outcome link. Not only is this link very weak, but the outcome wasn't valuable. If they performed, the reward was intangible and not specific. It may not even be considered a reward. It wasn't labeled. So we decided a good step would be to restructure this program. We know that there's a proper talent pool of people who can excel in these leadership positions, so we felt comfortable with making the stakes to get to an exec position require more buy-in into the organization. We require at least 7 points coming from the 9 general body meetings over the year, and 3 from outside special events. Simply defining what is needed to get into an executive position will set a proper goal to strive for people who already want to climb the ranks. This will lead to downstream effects where more people will show up and get to know each other more often and create an organizational culture based on commitment. What we need are people who care, who show up, and who are committed to the success of the organization. Accountable stakeholders. Without proper leadership, growth will be difficult.
Another initiative that we suggest taking is improving communication between committee chairs. So currently there's not a lot of communication between committee chairs, and there's not a lot of goal sharing or project sharing. So people on different committees, such as like fundraising and outreach, don't know what projects each other are working on, and they also don't know where they are on those projects. So our suggestion to remedy this problem is having them send an email twice a month that details what each committee group is doing, what their goals are for those projects, and what possible future projects are. To make everyone accountable for this, we suggest that twice a month the committee chairs send the information on the projects, the goals, and future projects to a secretary who can compile the information and send it out to the group twice a month. And then once that information is shared, it allows committee chairs to know what the others are doing, and it also allows group members to see what projects might be going on in other committees that they could be interested in, what projects their own committee is thinking about doing in the future, and it allows them to see like structured goal achieving. And through improved goal sharing and improved communication, we believe that the committee chairs will be more accountable to their own projects. They'll understand more clearly where they fit in the organization and what the organization is doing, and we believe that it'll help improve overall communication and leadership.
Oh, hey there. It wouldn't be fair to talk about our recommendations without mentioning a few potential issues. The structure and the organizational behaviors, the communication, they were the way they were for a reason. When you first start an organization, it's important to give people leadership positions. It's an easy way to draw in people, make them feel important, make them want to come to meetings. The problem arose, though, when we tangled the leadership positions and motivation. We learned in class that there's a very distinct way to motivate people and the very distinct behaviors you need out of the leadership. So we wanted to pick specific recommendations that address these. So what do we mean when we say that we're going to detangle leadership and motivation? We want good leaders for this club. They need to be able to communicate, and there's plenty of good talent to draw from. So if we start using leadership positions to lead and communicate, we can focus on other ways to motivate people. We talked about the point system. People want to come out to these events because they care about the cause. If we can draw on that instead of just forcing people into leadership positions, we can still capture the great leaders and have motivated people. This is so important because leadership can have a spiraling effect. Even if it's not as tall, we want the decisions to be made by everyone in the organization. You don't need to be at the top of the pyramid to make these important decisions. So, we thought that this project was a perfect example of how organizational behavior improvements can improve the lives of the people around us. Just by changing the structure of this club, or by improving the way we motivate the participants, we can improve this organization for all the Special Olympics participants, for all the students involved. And very simple changes can make a huge impact. Thanks.
All right, ready? 1, 2, 3.